Okay, so we have this basic model of mobility, which has people at home or at school or at work, and they circulate in what's meant to be a regular daily cycle. But we added this ability for them to go to the community with a certain probability of traveling there. And if they went there, they go to a random community place chosen randomly, unlike, say, their workplace or their home or their school, which are chosen deterministically just once. Here they're going to a random community place. And they visit it for an hour. But that, if they do so, their schedule no longer adds up to 24 hours. Now it's to 25. 8 or 16 for this, 8 for this, or 8 for at work. And then 1 here. 16 plus 8 plus 1 is 25. But if they go this way, they'll be 24. And by running the model, we actually saw there are some people at work at the same time others are at home. Oh my goodness. Which was an indication that our intention of keeping people in lockstep in terms of where they go by hours of the day was not accurate. So what we actually want here is a schedule. We want to inform people's movement patterns with a schedule. And this schedule will basically keep track of the time of day and allow us to have them go and at the right time present for work. Okay, so that's the idea. And like a great deal of my plans here, this is ad lib. And this particular one will be, I'll have to sort of follow my nose with this as I'm doing for many of these. Okay. So we're going to go to the palette, and in the palette, we're going to be seeking out the schedule within the agent class. And we're going to have a common schedule in main, rather than having each person have a separate schedule. If you wanted some to be working the graveyard shift, maybe you're dealing with sleep dysregulation, sleep problems, and you want some people to be on a different schedule than others, you could have that. But this will be like daily schedule. And I'm going to need Wade's assistance here, as in so many of my areas. Okay, so this schedule is going to specify when people are going to go to work. And I think I'll call this, regular, I'll call it work and school schedule. I'm sorry. Just to delineate it from like community visitation, which per Sarah's comments really merits, separate consideration. Like people might go to community places at other times. Okay. Bread and milk run or what have you. So we have a school, a schedule for this. And schedules in any logic, like custom distributions, can be of various types of, can keep various types of information in them, and particularly with respect to what they produce. They all keep track of sort of for certain times, what's the situation, but some of them are kind of on-off schedules. Some keep track of like the staffing levels at certain times. Some keep track of the rates to apply at certain times. And some keep track of real. Maybe Wade, you could, or someone else can research what real is, because this is a new one to me. Maybe it means a real number. In other words, a floating point number here. You can also determine, like, is this a schedule dictating like staffing levels over intervals, or the rate to apply over an interval, like my chance of going to the community to shop at certain intervals of the day. Like, I'm very low likelihood of doing that, at night or something like that. Or is it have to do with moments, like events during the day? And I'm going to wager, this is an area of little familiarity with me, that we want a moment schedule, because we're really interested in events, like clock is ringing, it's time to go to school or work. Alarm's going off. And time to rise and shine. And then there's a question of sort of, is this dealing with days and weeks of scope, or is it dealing within a week? Or is there sort of no particular mapping to the calendar? So AnyLogic has, and this is quite useful in many contexts, particularly with health service delivery or simulating certain public health things, which vary by day. So every simulation will have associated with it a calendar of sorts, and you can tell it when it starts calendar in terms of calendar dates, and when it ceases in terms of calendar dates, beyond specifying it for start time and end time. So there's always a notion of sort of what time of day it is and what day of the week it is, etc. Now, sometimes you don't care about that, and that's just stuff you ignore. But be aware there's a calendar, it takes into account, leap years or whatever. Okay. But back to our schedule, work and school schedule. Anyone figure out TA-wise what real is? Double precision, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. I'm gonna need the Wade help here. Okay. So this is gonna be a weekly schedule. It repeats weekly. And we're going to have certain things, certain moments of the day that are significant, like time to go home and cook, or time to leave for work and school, or what have you. And I am going to, again, follow my nose here, and we'll see how it all shakes out. Okay, so Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Rise and shine. Well, it's like time to go for the daily grind. Okay. And you notice that in terms of this, it has a value. This dictates its value. It's on at that time. But we could have like an integer where it would have a certain integer value. Ooh, that's interesting. That doesn't look like okay, there's the integer. We're going to keep it at an on-off schedule, and it's exhibiting kind of incomplete updating. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to change what's in the property window and have it come back. Okay, great. So here, when it's on, I'm going to leave for work. Now, really what I'd like to do is like getting a message sent to me or something when this happens, or otherwise be like woken up, sort of like an agent arrival, but have something that is what's called asynchronously. It sort of tells me, hey, go time to make the donuts. Like go out and work. Um, get out of here. So uh I'd like to be able to do that. I'm not aware off the top of my head of a way to do that, like to have a transition that is triggered by the schedule, but it's possible Wade would have encountered one.
Yeah, it's kind of non-obvious, but if you if you uh if you use a value like an integer value,
Okay. A value. Yeah.
and you can say like you can give it a like give it one, I guess.
Yeah.
Then in your action code,
You could have a condition.
yeah.
I was thinking of doing the condition with on off. That was my crude plan. So it's using a condition transition. Is
Yeah.
that
Oh, okay. No, I was going to suggest in the action you can send a message because the action of the schedule will be triggered every time the schedule changes.
bingo? So can I
And
just
it
leave it?
allows you to interrogate the value of the schedule.
Oh,
Like
I
if
see.
you,
I see. So your point is like, but this will be true if it's on off as well, right? Like I could keep it as an
I
on
think
off,
so, yeah.
yeah, on off schedule. Like it turns on now, and then as long as I turn it off later is the point. Like
Yeah.
um, so like uh at um uh at I'll say it turns off at. I mean, really, I could make this any later time. Um I wanted it to be moments, and I'm not sure. Well, okay, yeah. The point is, it's not over. Okay, so fine. At 8:01, it turns off. My alarm goes off for 1 minute, and then it stops. Okay. Um, Wait, tell me if this is problematic. Just rather than having it be like 5 p.m. or something like that. Well, sure. Maybe I'll make it 5 p.m. so that like or 4:30 p.m. That's the end of the, let's say, the extracurriculars and the work day or what have you. Okay. And then this will be off. It'll sort of toggle off. So I could use this to like time to go home or time to go leave work or school or something. But yeah. Okay. And then I can send myself a message is the point, Wade. But doesn't that mean the schedule has to be, oh, I could send everyone a message, right?
Yeah, you can send it to all the whole population.
Okay, okay. Okay, so again, doing this by my nose, send to all or something like that. Or send to all. Except really, I mean, that's very blunt. I don't want to send it to the schools and the community places. Really, what I want to do is like population send to all or something like that. And how would you do that, Wade? Okay. Well, fine. I can I can iterate over this, right?
Yeah, I think you have to. There's
Mm,
no there's
okay.
no way to send to with a collection of agents that
Yeah. 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 Uh, okay. Okay. And then I will do send or deliver. I could do
I
um
think you can do deliver to the whole population, if I'm not wrong.
uh
It contains a collection.
uh yeah, but the whole population. Oh, deliver to whole population, you're saying?
Yes. So like it's population dot deliver actually.
Oh, population dot deliver. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Um the next generation is strong. Okay, okay, now now it exhibits. Okay, now it's No, it's exhibiting um truculence, but okay. Oh, sorry. Population dot deliver. No, that's not what I want. Dot deliver to all, you're saying?
It should be just dot deliver. At
Okay.
least the description would say it allows that. But
Okay, so like I'll send them a message like, okay, here I'm gonna send a string message, but like go uh you know uh commute time. Um okay, but it looks like uh you have to specify. I see. I see the message, and then you have to say like all or what have you. Is that right? Let's try this. Okay, delivers undefined for. So this is saying like can't for a population. So are you sure this operates on a population?
No, you'd have to call main deliver, and then it would deliver to everything in the space,
Okay.
not just the people.
Okay. 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 So beautiful idea, but killed by an ugly fact. Um, okay. Within the population, for each person P in the population, I will send them. So send I will send them a send person a message saying commute time. Hey, hey, come on. Stop being that. Stop being okay. I don't like sending string messages. We'll go repair that in a moment, but okay, it's exhibiting. Okay, so it doesn't allow. Okay, is it message first? Okay, remind me,
Message first, then
then the person. Okay, yeah. Okay, P. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Happy. Okay. Okay. So how did all this happen? We basically went through the population. We sent them messages. Now we will need other message types. So I'm going to take the hit now. I'm going to add an option list. An option list. This is going to be called message type. I'm going to say finish, and then I'm going to put commute time as one message. And I'm going to have a later one, which we're not going to tell you right now, but it's in fact, it's exposed. Okay, so now instead of putting this in quotes, which is fragile as all get out, it can be misspelt, inconsistent, it's just like a breeding ground for bugs. It's like leaving, like pieces of food all around your home for the rodents to come and the bugs to come. It's where cockroaches flourish. So here we send commute time. So we're going to send each person in the population a message saying basically, get out and commute. Okay. I might add, I'm not doing that for this boot camp. Okay. So, oh, okay. Okay. So I'm seeing action in the chat. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So we added this schedule. Basically at 8 a.m. it turns on. And at 4:30 it turns off. But each time we're sending commute time, which is not what we So somehow we only want to do this if it's turning on, right? Right now. So there must be a way to like say, okay, is the schedule on or not?
Yeah, so if you look at the light bulb there,
Yeah, yeah,
you can access the value of the
good.
schedule.
Thank you. Value. If value equals true, or like what is on?
Yeah, I think it'll be a Boolean value.
True. True. Let's true cannot okay. Capital, I can't remember in Java if it's capitalized or not. Okay. No, no, okay. Okay, so no, if value, what am I doing? You don't say like if it's equal to true. Okay, okay. If value, it thinks it's a Boolean. So I'm happy. It's a Boolean. See that? It says it's a Boolean. If we did integer, blah blah blah, and we said, 3, 4, whatever, then presumably a value would be an integer. Come on, let's just try this. Integer. Yeah. So here it's on and off, and if we wanted to send them a message when it turns off, then we could say otherwise send them go home. And that's not a yeah, I kind of like that. So then we don't have to worry about like how long they're in the community. Whenever they get this message, they will go away from home. So maybe I'll do this 5 o'clock p.m. They are going to go home. So I'm going to call this commute schedule, not work schedule. I'm going to call it, regular daily schedule. This is like the regular one. So if it's at 8 a.m., they're going to go do the commute. And then otherwise, we're going to send them a message, which we will define called like send, head home. Okay. Head home cannot be defined because we have to go define it in our message types. So we have to do this. And here we're going to add head home. And now we should be able to build. And yes, I'll give this to you, but there we go. Okay. So each time the schedule changes, each time this toggles, this go from off to on at 8 a.m., then we go over and for each person in the population, we send them a thing saying commute time. By contrast, if it turns to 5 p.m., we'll go over each person in the population and we'll send them a thing that says head home. No, I almost prefer to do this with 2 one-line things, get rid of the loop, by using the sort of mechanisms we've seen before, with where we could do population dot for each. So this whole loop could be replaced by, for those who prefer it, I'll say alternatively, can do as this. And then you don't even need the loop. You just say if value. In other words, if it's commute time, we're going to go Oh, it could be done even more sweetly. Oh gosh. Oh, it should be done that way. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Population dot for each. Okay. Person like this. For each person, send that person a message. What message will we send? If value is true, we'll send them a commute message. Commute time. Otherwise, we'll send them a head home. And we'll send it to P. That's what we want. That's what it is. Except do we need can anyone remind me, do we need a curly bracket here in Java? I don't think so. No.
You don't need one only if you have multiple statements.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. This is my preferred one. People may disagree with my aesthetics, but I'll put this down here as alternative. You do the one you're most comfortable with. I find this slick. Like, okay, for each person, send them a message that's either, if it's commuting time, send them commuting time. If it's head home, head home. And send it to each person. Oh, sorry, this should not be, it should be person. It should not be P. Not, oh, person. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this is a one line way of doing this. For each person in the population, send them a value. We figure out whether it's time for the commute. If so, send them that. Otherwise, head home. And then you you'll send that to the person. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is our daily schedule. And now we need to reflect that. So what sort of transition should this be now? What sort of transition is this? That point was we've now got a way of telling them when it's time to go to work. So what should this be? What type of transition? Okay, I think I've lost people, unfortunately. It should be a message transition triggered by a message. And as a message transition, it's on a particular message, which is commute time, like time to commute. And if they are in the community doing things, they will go home when they receive a message that says, oops, go home. And it's not nicely updating again and distressing. Okay. On particular message, go home. Okay, go home. Oh, variable action. Oh, oh, that's the action. Okay, it's exhibiting interface distress. Okay. Yeah, why is this?
Should be head home, right? Because your message
Oh,
app is
head home. Thank you. Head home. I thought it was, yeah, so it's okay, but it's still exhibiting displeasure. I think it's, oh no, okay. So make sure, let's just see, does it build? No, it's still saying there's an error. Okay, oh.
The
Oh,
message should be commute home, not
yeah, I
action.
put I thought the interface had updated and it didn't. Commute time. Okay. Yeah, I put it in the action. That's crazy. Okay. Problem was yeah. Anyway. Okay. So now they leave at a certain time of day, triggered by message, that comes at the right time of day. That was our whole point. Here we could send them a message at a certain time of day, regardless of their activities. We send them a message, say, go home, head home. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. That's much appreciated. I used that a day or two ago again, and I'm sorry, I should have explained it. At 5 p.m., we send them a message saying, head home. At 8 a.m., we send them a message saying commute time. That's why we check the value of this message. Send every person in the population. That's what this is. For each person in the population, do this. And then person here, if they're in this state and they get a commute time message, they'll start commuting. If they're in the community and they get a head home message, they'll go here. And if they go directly home from work, well, they've gone home and we won't handle it from work or home. They'll just, we anticipate that they'll stay there. We could add similar transitions to go home if we wanted from work or school. Okay, so now we have them synchronized to a 24-hour cycle. They come back home and they're going to leave at 8 a.m. from home. They go home at latest at 5 p.m., but they can go from home or work, home or school earlier. Okay. Okay. Great. Now, let's make sure this model runs okay. I apologize, that was a bit more than I wanted to spend on that, but now we have people going back and forth nicely, and they're all synchronized. They all go to work, gets at 8, and they go to school at 8. And then right now, it's not required to be message type. It's kind of nice to it's kind of nice to have a list of message types so you can have all one place and you can delineate. Oh, I see. That's a good point, what Sarah's saying, as normal. I think I was misreading her note. The message type, thank you, Sarah. That's awesome. This message type, good point. This message type should be, I mean, to be safest, it should be message, kind of morally, we should mark it as message type, even though it's not absolutely required. It uses type checking to our advantage if we have the message type be message type. It means less futzing to see if its type is that if the right type of thing and so on. Anyway, morally I feel strongly. I'm a big believer in strong typing, and I think that should be how it's done. Okay, so right now, people's chance of going to the community is given by this probability. And I thought the probability is 1. So when I look at this, I notice like these particular big box stores are not being visited by anyone right now. But maybe it's just because people are visiting other stores, other big box stores. I'm not quite clear. The people are behind the stores. Okay. Thank you, because the stores were created after the people weighed, I think. Yes, okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to deal with that. Let's clean that up. Um, so I think what Wade is referring to can be diagnosed as well by zooming in here. If you go zoom in, what you'll find is like, we'll go to like 400%. How did I do that? I did it with this little thing. And we'll see that this is in front of person. Thank you, Jeff. That's awesome. Oh, but Jeff, see that one, see it says triggered by message. That should be message type. I just morally, I feel it should be message type. It's not required, but it's a best practice. It's a good thing to be careful about your types. And we know that all the messages circulating should be message types. And if there's a rogue message that's a unsafe use, someone's sending a string message of all things, we'll flag it and correct. Okay, so here in Maine, we have this little box in front. And there should be a way, and Wade, maybe you can.
You can go to the draw menu at the top of your window, upper left,
Oh, okay. Draw, order.
and order sent to back.
Okay, but right
Will you
now,
allow you to do that?
um, order send to back. Okay, it's oh, okay,
There you go.
okay, yeah, yeah. So now the box will be kind of behind any person that seeks, and the box store will not hide the people that patronize it. Okay, so let's see, the workday is, well, I would have thought the workday would have begun by now. Okay, so now they're at work, and then they're gonna, some of them will go to, yeah, they're going to the box stores. Okay, they're going home then after the box stores. They're sleeping. They're gonna wake up and they're gonna go to work or school. They're at work and some are at school, I think. Um, and then they're after work, they're going to the box stores and then going home. Okay. Okay. So that's a little synchronized schedule. It's less I know that took some time and I apologize for that. I'm gonna go post this so you can have access to this. That was that involves some finesse, and I think it's the better for it, but and it kind of teaches a more robust way of capturing this than just with timeouts, but it required us to follow our nose, and as usual follow Wade's sage and stentorian guidance. Okay. Great. Okay, so we have a nice little model there, and one thing we could do, it would be rather pleasing, would be if we could have, baseline, everyone goes to the community after work, and then in a rather modest, medium, you know, medium community visitation. We have probability of a community place visit of 0.5. So a lot of people just go home directly after work and school and don't partake of the community spaces. Okay, so, okay, medium community participation. Thank you, Jeff. And what I did is I changed there oh, look at that. Look at that. It's not even highlighting that. That's really, it's not bolding this. Okay. Okay. Look at that, Wade.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. I find it distressing. But wait a minute, there's something else going on because I only see one box right now. And well, here we go. Okay. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna zoom in. Let's go see what's going on. Okay, so people are at home. Okay. Oh, they went. Yeah, that was a bit quick. Some of them are going to the box store, and I think some are going. Yeah, some are at home even when others are at the box store. So, hey, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to slow it down. Okay, so okay, come on. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna go to school. Come on. Oh, it must be a weekend or something. Note that this only applies on weekdays. And oh, yeah. I think they're going to the anecdotal evidence suggests that they are going to both at the same time. So some people are going home, some people are going back. Okay. So that was version 10. Now what I want to do is really add something we've explored previously, but it's going to be pretty nifty. Going to be pretty nifty adding to this. And it has to do with much of the motivation for this. We're going to add in an infection transmission, an infection state chart. Okay. Mind you, like a model like this would have many other possible uses. I mean, social influences on smoking, impacts on asthma by circulating in different environments and circulating in the frigid cold of Canada in the winter, exposing them to different occupational hazards, dealing with interpersonal agonistic behavior at work or what have you, examining the impacts of the workplace food environment on eating habits, etc. But we are going to take a communicable disease lens to examine this. So I'm going to have a state which is and the state is going to be susceptible. We've gone through this before, so hopefully we can go through it pretty quick. Infection or infective. Wait, check it out. Check out that property window.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have it focused on something else, which, oh, look at that. Wait. Didn't stick.
Oh, it didn't
Didn't stick.
Huh.
Yeah. I bet it look it's the same way. Watch this. Now you see it? Oh, no. This time it's stuck. Okay. Okay, now this time we're going to color these in kind of a best practices way. This one, we're going to color lime green. How did I do that? I selected it. I did fill color. This time we're going to do it as red because they're points of concern. And this one we're going to do as gray. Okay. And we're going to have the normal infection message. We'll come back to that in a second. And then a recovery message. And then we will have a waning of immunity that will go back, bring them back to susceptible. Double click to bend it to your will. And double click again to engage in symmetry preserving transformations. Okay. Oh, this is not connected. Watch out for those. Make sure it's green on both sides. Green is the color when state charts are the game. There we go. Okay. Great. Okay. Now, we have some supporting machinery we need to put into place. And then we'll come to the heart of the issue. Hopefully before lunch here. Okay, so first things first, we have to add some parameters into main for the mean waning time and the time for recovery for infection, the mean infection time. And also for contact rate whilst here. So I guess by the same, we'll go do that, and then we'll add that transition, internal transition for the infection. Here we go. So let's add a parameter to the palette. And this is going to be called contact rate. And it's going to be a rate. And if we don't specify anything, it'll be 1.0 per day. Is it per day? What would 1.0 be? What would that mean? What would 1.0 mean for this model? Anyone remember? Per hour. Yeah, exactly. An hourly rate. Exactly, because the time unit is hours. So if it were length of time, it would mean 1.0 would be 1.0 hours. If it's a rate, it would be hourly, just like Sarah just nailed it again. It's an hourly rate. Okay, next.
We also need a proportion of initially infected, I think,
Yes.
no?
Oh, yeah, we'll do it. I'm gonna show you another way to do that that's elegant, and we'll have let's build on that suggestion. I love it, Sarah too, and let's call it count initially infective. Okay, and this will be an integer. This is another way to accomplish it. And it's going to be some count of people who are initially infective, and I'm going to make it 5 as by default. I can make it 1.
I had a question. Is there a way to do that as like a dynamic event thing, like introducing one person in the middle, kind of?
That's interesting. A dynamic event to yeah. I mean, you could. That's interesting. You'd still like that person would know, like, oh, you need this dynamic event to turn me infective later. And I'm not sure it would save any work. I think it would actually take a little bit more work. But yes, it could be done with a dynamic event. Like the dynamic event, it's going to fire off at time. Like this is where you might do it. Like if you wanted to introduce, you want to look at the patterns before any infection was inserted. And then there's a dynamic event, maybe in Maine, that like when it goes off, boom, it infects people. And so you start the outbreak after a week or whatever. Like you could do that. That would actually be rather elegant way to do it. Alternatively, you could have a parameter that would say like when to start the outbreak, and then you'd have an event whose occurrence time is set by that parameter, and it would boom, it would fire off, it would trigger at that time, and you could send the people message saying you're infected, you're infected, you're infected. And we'll see something morally a little bit. You'll see like the key code that you could use to do that in just a minute. And it's short and it's sweet. And it's not NP complete. Okay, so contact rate, count initially infective. Those are two parameters we want. The count is an integer. I said default value of 5, but we could make it other default values of 1 if you so please. We want a parameter for mean infection. We could call it mean recovery time. Maybe that's a more positive way to say it. And we'll make that one, we'll make it 3. Now this is like, I'm going to show you something kind of slick, if you don't mind. So this is going to be mean recovery time. And what is the mean recovery time? Like if I give 1, what would that mean? 1 what? Hour. So we have to be careful here. I want it to be 3 days. And this is a self-documenting way that you could say 3 days. Watch it. 3.0 times day, begin paren, end paren. That will mean 3 days. And this is intention revealing, right? It's in saying, I want it to be 3 days. I know, no. I know you could do 72 hours, but don't do that in your head. That's like self-harm. You're hiding the logic. You're hiding the fact that it's 3 days. And if you think of it as 3 days, probably others would find it helpful to think of it as 3 days. 72 is a bit, like, why do you pick 72? People may not immediately arrive at it being 3 days. Yes, you can do that too. So that could be fine. It's just that day indicates like 3 days. And, if I want it to be 3 weeks, I could do 3 weeks. If I want it to be 3 years, I could do 3 years. And rather than having someone have to say, like, what do you have to multiply it be to convert this to a week? 168 hours. Yeah, the intention is unambiguous. Yeah. It's self-documented. Students in my lab, take note. And works for any model units. Yeah, that's right. Any model content. So again, a year. You wouldn't want to say 3 times the number of seconds or number of hours in a year, because that's not likely to be on the tip of your tongue. But it's slick. It communicates the intention. It's very, very nice. And by the way, for a rate, you could do 3 per day. There's not a rate. There's not a rate. But if you wanted to have like recovery rate or something, or waning immunity rate, you could do 3 per year if you wanted or 1.0 per year if you wanted the mean time to be 1 year. It's slick. It's slick. Okay. 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 Okay, so that's mean recovery time. And then further to this point, I'm gonna have waning immunity. I'll make it a rate of waning immunity. To sort of further this point. But maybe it's not like it's any logic is playing a bit coy with me this morning, but I'll have to close down and fire it up over lunch. Okay, so if I want it to be to be 1 year on average, like 1 over a year. So it'll take 1 year on average to recover. This is a rate such that the mean time is 1 year. You do 1 per week if the mean time is once per week. I think I'll actually make this 1 per month. I'll treat it like gonorrhea activity. Make it a shorter term. 1 per month. Self-document. Works for any time. Has clear units associated with it. Helps transparency of models. Another thing I'll tell you, Reason, if you remember, like, the waning rate here is, you remember, like, something goes on for, for 7 days or something, instead of doing like 7 times 24. Oh yeah, no, that would actually reveal it, but instead of doing 168 or whatever, the number of hours in a week, if you do 168, the 7-ness of it, 7 days, is not obvious. So if you like search in any logic for, you can do find, Control F, and search to find things. And if you search for 7, you're not going to find it because it's tied up in this kind of number. It's hard coded in a way that obscures the intention. But if you have it broken out in a way that's your preferred way of thinking about it, like 7 times day or 7 times week or whatever, it breaks out the 7-ness, and so you can search for 7 and you'll find it, which is maybe how you remember it. So don't take it from an old man. Don't do calculations hard coded, and like you could do them explicitly, like Sarah's idea of like 7 times 24. It's not a bad way. That's much better than 168. 168, if I saw that in a model from one of my students, I would leap from my seat and I would seek to provide them proper guidance to disabuse them of this practice of obscuring your model from stakeholder understanding and from your own understanding. And it's just asking, it's just inviting. It's like going around in a thunderstorm with an umbrella sticking above your head or something, or like a lightning rod on your head. Like, don't do it. It's self-harm. It hurts you, it hurts others. Don't do it. Okay. So mean recovery time, waning immunity rate. These are serious issues. I shouldn't laugh. This is like in math. You show your work. Yeah. You make your intentions clear to yourself, to others. That's how you get critiques of your model. That's how they get improved. That's how you learn more effectively from the model. If it shows compassion to yourself and others when you come back to the model, you can more quickly understand it. You can help others understand it to help on your team. It helps build credibility in your model. I could tell you stories about that. And time was I saved something like a $2.5 million US contract with the Singaporean government when they said, like, where did that assumption come from? And I went and I showed them in the software package. It was Benson there. Like, there's the calculation for it. There's all the documentation of its source. It's a transparent calculation. And I was told later, like, that saved our contract because they had confidence in the modeling that this is being done with appropriate care. It was a matter of geopolitical import to Singapore, so it was appropriately so. Okay. Anyway, moving right along. Mean recovery time, waning immunity rate, contact rate. I think that's what we need here. And we need let's pitch these up. So here we want this to be recovery transition. And we want to show the name, a matter of transparency. And we want this to be did we say mean recovery time? Yes, we said mean recovery time. So we could have a rate as 1 over that time, or we could have a timeout. I'm going to have a timeout. Notice also we could choose this to be like days, but then we need to name that thing mean recovery time in days to be intention revealing. Don't mix the dimensions of things without being clear in the name. Because if one thing is measured in days, another thing is measured in years, like, you're just inviting trouble. Inviting trouble. Okay. So main dot mean recovery time. If my druthers, I'd call it recovery duration. If it were measured in days, we could have called mean recovery duration in days. And that would have been fine too. And then we could have chosen this as days. So AnyLogic's not too bad when it comes to, it's not reprehensible when it comes to units. It's actually kind of grudgingly supportive. Okay, so this is waning of immunity. This is a rate given by the, oh my gosh. See, it's not updating this dumb thing. Okay. Rate per hour. Yeah, I could have made it per year. Then I would have called that in year, rate per year. But I'll say it. I'm sorry. So this is main dot waning immunity rate. I could have said per year waning immunity rate and then made this per year. That would have been also a beautiful way to do it. And arguably even more beautiful. Okay. Waning immunity rate per hour. Immune recovery time hours. Good. Okay, now this one is at the heart of communicable disease transmission, or at the heart of any contagion. Maybe this is spread of disinformation, spread of conspiracy theories. And you want to capture that contagion. Well, look, it's a person-person contagion, requires a susceptible and a infective. No. Anyway, I could comment more on that, but so we're going to go to message type, and we're going to have a message type called exposed with a capital E. Putting in here is a best practice. Friends don't like friends use strings for message types. It's like driving, well, texting all the time or something. You're just going to get in a world of trouble. Okay, exposed. Okay, here, this transition is going to be the infection transition. It's going to be a message. And any logic for me is giving me trouble, so I'm switching away and coming back to that. The message type is message type. The particular message is exposed that triggers this. Other messages won't trigger. This message will. Speak on, Wade.
You've got that in action because it didn't update the UI.
Oh, it didn't update. No. Thank you, Wade. What an abomination. Okay. Okay, well, at least it's fixed in the new version, Jeff says. So, like, well, at least the new version on Jeff's machine. I don't know if he's running Linux. Maybe he is. Okay. Okay. So exposed. Okay. So we're a lot of the way done, but there's two key issues. Two issues. One is key in terms of both are key in terms of their implications in terms of dynamics. One of them is a more transactional cut and dry. Thanks, Jeff. Cut and dry thing. Namely, we need to seed initial infections in the population. And this relates to Sarah S's, asked before about a certain fraction getting infected. There's a couple ways we could do that. So one is you could divide people up initially, as we saw, and put a certain fraction here, flip a coin for each person. Do they start infected? I'll show you another way that is quite slick. And that handles an exact number that are initially infected. Well, yeah, as long as it doesn't repeat. No, actually, it's an exact number. It's slick. Hey, students in my lab, pay attention to this. Okay. So we're going to go up to main and we're going to infect people. I'm going to post this model.